Growing concerns now for the innocent people caught in the fighting in Ukraine. Russia stepping up bombing on critical infrastructure, blowing out electricity ahead of the brutal Eastern European winter. Russian forces launching more missile and drone attacks targeting power and water supplies as Vladimir Putin tries to hammer Ukraine into submission. It comes as a mass evacuation is underway in the city of Kherson, the capital of one of the 4 Russian-occupied territories where Putin has declared martial law. For more, let's bring in Jon Wolfsthal, senior advisor at Global Zero, an organization working to eliminate nuclear weapons. He was also appointed by the State Department to serve on its International Security Advisory Board. Good to have you with us, John. You know, martial law now in effect in 4 Russian-occupied regions of Ukraine. Putin also, as we mentioned, targeting critical infrastructure with these missiles and Iranian-made drones. What do you think of Putin's war strategy here? Is he getting desperate?
Well, I think it's far too early, and I think it's very difficult to know exactly what Putin himself is feeling or thinking. What we are seeing is a replay of Vladimir Putin's war plan, which we've seen play out in places like Georgia and Chechnya, which is if he can't seize it, he's going to try and destroy it and bomb it into submission in effort to break the will of the people and the leadership and to drag out this conflict as long as possible. So what's your gut with regard to nuclear weapons here? I mean, we hear the saber rattling, and we're talking about it. You get a totally different opinion from the president depending on what day. With your experience, your background, do you think that Putin is going to go there? So I think we're a long way from Putin feeling so desperate or backed into a corner that he feels his only resort is to use a nuclear weapon. He still has many tools, unfortunately, to use on the battlefield. And again, because we don't know what Putin's ultimate objective here is, whether it is seizing all of Ukraine, seizing the 4 provinces he's illegally annexed, or simply trying to keep Ukraine weak and out of the NATO alliance, it's hard to say where the red line is. That's part of the danger. But the reality is that Putin has said he's prepared to use nuclear weapons. He has over 5,000 nuclear weapons at his disposal, and he's already using the threat to prevent or deter the United States and NATO from getting more heavily involved in Ukraine. So it is a risk. It's a serious one, but nobody, not the president, and I probably would guess not even Vladimir Putin, can tell you exactly where the nuclear line is.
So the Biden administration, as you know, says that Putin is resorting to desperate tactics now to try and make new gains in Ukraine. Do you believe that the U.S. is sending a strong enough message, John, to Vladimir Putin to even deter him from the potential use of nukes?
So I think the president and his administration have been very clear and very strong, both privately and publicly, with Vladimir Putin. They've made it clear that if he were to use a nuclear weapon in Ukraine, even not against NATO, but against Ukrainian citizens, that the response would be extreme, catastrophic for Russia, and that the objectives of the West in the war would change, that we would hold him and his military directly responsible. I think we already are effectively deterring Vladimir Putin from attacking NATO territory. Those commitments from President Biden and the United States, I think, are well understood in Moscow. But what we've not tried to do is deter Putin from undertaking this war in Ukraine, because Ukraine is not a NATO ally. There are limits to how far you can use nuclear weapons in coercing your adversary to take certain actions. And the reality is that Putin has the flexibility and the nuclear protection to carry out this war in Ukraine in a way that is desperately punishing to the Ukrainian people. And the United States and NATO are trying to do everything they can to make sure Putin doesn't benefit from that and that he doesn't hold territory in the long run.
Jon Wolfsthal, appreciate your perspective. Thanks, John.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.